Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. At 61 years old, Pastor John F. Hannah continues to inspire millions. But what happened at the Mantle Revival pop-up left the world in shock. Imagine, within just minutes, over $300,000 was raised right before a stunned crowd. No fundraisers, no campaigns, just pure faith and energy. Was this a miracle of generosity, a powerful move of God, or something deeper that reveals how modern ministry really works? Stay tuned, because Hannah's family is finally confirming news that will change how you see revival forever. The Mantle Revival pop-up wasn't just another Sunday service where people arrive half awake and shuffle into pews. This was an event deliberately marketed as a once-in-a-season encounter. It was hosted by Prophet Joshua Giles, a young but rapidly rising prophetic voice whose reputation has grown through bold prophecies, fiery preaching, and revival meetings that attract hungry crowds from across the nation. When people attend Joshua Giles's Mantle Revival events, they aren't just coming for music or a sermon. They come expecting impartation, breakthrough, and what they believe will be life-changing encounters with God. Giles has branded himself as a new generation revivalist, speaking on mantles, destiny, and divine acceleration. His events draw people longing for fresh anointing and spiritual empowerment. Now, into that already charged atmosphere walked Pastor John Hannah, one of the most influential church leaders in America. Based in Chicago, Hannah pastors a massive congregation and is known for his electrifying preaching style and his gift for mobilizing people. He isn't just a preacher. He's a spiritual architect who knows how to turn a room into a movement. When Hannah speaks, people listen, and more importantly, people respond. Picture it. The room is packed. The music is thundering. The worship team is pushing people into deep moments of surrender. Believers are crying, praying, shouting. The audience has come expecting miracles, prophecy, and breakthrough. By the time Pastor John Hannah takes the microphone, the atmosphere is electric. This is the secret. When you have that much spiritual and emotional energy in a room, the ground is fertile for extraordinary things to happen. The crowd wasn't just open, they were primed, waiting for something historic. And that's exactly when it happened. The moment Pastor Hannah shifted the energy from worship into what would become one of the fastest, most shocking fundraising moments the modern church has ever seen. What made this offering different? It wasn't just Hannah's presence, it was the way he engaged the crowd and framed the act of giving. Prophet Joshua Giles had already prepared the people spiritually. He spoke about mantles, destiny, divine acceleration, and the power of generosity. By the time Hannah stepped up, the audience wasn't just listening to words. They believed God was about to move, and that their obedience through giving could unlock breakthrough. Hannah then built on that foundation with precision. He didn't immediately ask for donations. Instead, he shared stories of past miracles, testimonies of provision, and reminders of God's promises. He framed giving not as a financial transaction, but as a spiritual investment. A seed of faith that connected attendees to something extraordinary. And then came the call to action. Unlike traditional offerings with baskets passed slowly down aisles, this was rapid, dynamic, and seamless. Multiple giving channels, online platforms, mobile apps, on-site kiosks were already in place. People could give instantly, almost reflexively, while the energy of the moment was at its peak. Within minutes, over $300,000 had been raised. Attendees weren't just donating. They felt like they were participating in a miracle in motion, a divine act unfolding right before their eyes. Critics quickly raised concerns. Was the crowd pressured, even subconsciously, into giving beyond their means? Were people fully aware of how the funds would be used? Some watchdog voices questioned whether connecting giving so directly to promises of breakthrough risked creating a dangerous, transactional form of faith. Debates spilled onto blogs, online forums, and Christian news outlets. Local stations highlighted the astonishing sum as an inspiring act of faith, while watchdog groups dissected the methods, wondering if excitement had been confused with manipulation. What most people didn't see was the careful preparation behind the scenes. According to insiders, this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment request for donations. Weeks of planning went into ensuring the environment was designed for maximum engagement. From lighting to music, seating to giving platforms, every detail was calculated. Volunteers were trained, kiosks were ready, and online systems were primed. When the atmosphere reached its peak, people could respond instantly without hesitation. Hannah himself played the role of both preacher and strategist. Known for his ability to read the room, he adjusted his delivery on the spot, scanning the audience, locking eyes with individuals, and making personal connections. In some moments, he even called people out directly, acknowledging them by name and sharing prophetic encouragements. For many, that personal touch made giving feel intimate and spiritually significant. Meanwhile, Joshua Giles laid the spiritual groundwork. His messages on destiny and obedience primed attendees with expectation. By the time Hannah called for giving, the room was already in full alignment, spiritually, emotionally, and practically. Of course, not everyone agreed on what this moment meant. Supporters argued that the giving was voluntary, faith-driven, and deeply authentic. They pointed out that thousands of attendees walked away without donating, proving there was no coercion. Critics, however, weren't convinced. They warned that high-energy fundraising in revival contexts could blur the line between inspiration and manipulation. Linking giving too directly to breakthrough, they argued, risked encouraging transactional faith, where people expect financial blessings in exchange for donations. This debate spilled far beyond the event itself, sparking conversations about accountability, stewardship, and transparency in modern ministry. For some, the Mantle Revival pop-up represented the future of revival culture. For others, it was a cautionary tale about the dangers of mixing spiritual fervor with financial pressure. One undeniable lesson from the event is the growing role of technology in ministry. Mobile giving apps, instant online platforms, and real-time donation systems transformed what could have been a slow process into a lightning-fast miracle. Gone are the days when offerings relied on envelopes and baskets. Today, faith and technology converge in ways that allow spiritual momentum to translate into immediate results. For churches, this opens up both massive opportunities and serious responsibilities. Transparency, clear communication, and ethical stewardship are more important now than ever. The Mantle Revival pop-up also revealed something bigger than one offering. It signaled a new model of revival. This isn't the slow-paced, all-night prayer meeting of decades past. Modern revivals are immersive, high-energy, participatory events. People don't just attend. They engage, respond, and contribute in real time. This model demands more from leaders, too. Pastors and prophets aren't just theologians. They're communicators, motivators, and strategists. Leaders like John Hannah and Joshua Giles are shaping revival culture by blending prophetic authority, charismatic presence, and cutting-edge tools. At the end of the day, the real story isn't just about money. It's about what this moment represents. For many who attended, it was a defining spiritual experience. People testified of breakthroughs, renewed faith, and divine encouragement. They believed their giving connected them to something far bigger than themselves. For others watching from afar, it raised urgent questions about the future of church finances, revival culture, and the influence of charismatic leaders. One thing is certain. The $300,000 raised by Pastor John Hannah at Prophet Joshua Giles' Mantle Revival pop-up has already left a mark. It's a story people are still debating, still celebrating, and still questioning. And whether you see it as a miracle of faith or a moment of controversy, it reflects the changing face of modern ministry. Fast-moving, tech-driven, personality-powered, and impossible to ignore. So what do you think? Was this a powerful demonstration of faith and unity, or does it raise deeper concerns about money and ministry? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit like if this story intrigued you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories shaking revival culture today. Thanks for watching.